Hello, parents, caretakers, teachers, and also grandparents. First, let me just say this: wish you all a happy 2023. Now, when I say happy, I'm not simply using that word happy. May this year be an year where your journey with your children, journey with your teenagers, journey with your young people would be so rooted, and the bonding would be much more deeper. That's my prayer. Not that you would do things right, not that we will do certain things right and get the results, push the right buttons, get the results. No. That our bonding, our connection would become more deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and they would see our heart bleed. They would see our heart bleed. Now, we started something last year, the end of that year, we started something called 5 spoilers in our relationship, in discipling the next generation. 5 spoilers. And the first spoiler that we talked about is unsurrendered will. The second spoiler that we need to talk about here is that it's in a place where it becomes very difficult when we walk in this place. Now, what's the second spoiler? The second spoiler is disregard for God's sovereignty. Disregard for God's sovereignty. Now, I'm putting that as a spoiler because many a times I'm seeing some of the parents, some of the grandparents, some of the teachers, we glorify our mistakes so much and say, oh, I've done it like that. I used to be like that kind of a father. I used to be that kind of a mother, and that's where my son has become like this, I think. That's how my daughter has gone in that particular direction. And, I really regret not to walk in that place. He's a God who is sovereign. He's able to turn everything together for good. Can we come to that place to regard God's sovereignty? He's still a sovereign God. He can even change some of those mistakes into something good. He's a God who can work things out. I am not good, but He is good. I am not great, but He is great. I make a lot of mistakes, but He specializes and masters in turning every one of those mistakes for something good. Because He's a good Father. See, we need to sink this in. If we are going to walking in that place of having that disregard for God's sovereignty and saying, I really don't know, things have gone off, I think the time has gone, my son has grown up and he's left house and things. No, all I need to do is to go and humble myself before the Lord and come under His sovereignty. Just come under Him and just simply say, Lord, you can turn anything. You can turn anything from downside to upside. You can turn anything from black to white. You can turn anything from the destruction to a place where it's a blessing. You can turn anything. So for us to come to that place to understand and regard very highly of God's sovereignty is going to be so critical in our journey with our children, with our teenagers. It's going to be very, very critical. I'm just saying this again and again. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I'm not trying to point out or things like that. I see too many parents today. Too many parents have not come to that place to regard and esteem God's sovereignty. He's a sovereign God, an omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent. He knows all things. He's the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. How much more can He do things beyond our mistakes with our children? We are not perfect parents. No, we are not. We are not. We still make mistakes. We have changed a lot. Yes, I have changed a lot. And my children understand that. And my children acknowledge that. Daddy, you have changed a lot. Great. But I still have to change a lot of ways. In a lot of places, I still have to change. See, for us to come to that place, let's understand, when we disregard God's sovereignty, that's a spoiler. It's a spoiler in our relationship in mentoring the next generation. We have to regard, we have to highly value and esteem. That's the top, that He is a sovereign God. He's beyond my mistake. Doesn't mean that I don't have to change. Doesn't mean that I don't have to, evaluate myself and do the changes that I need to do. I'm not saying that. We need to. All of that. Evaluate and do the changes. Everything we need to do it. But please understand, He's a sovereign God who is beyond our mistakes. no matter what we have done, He can turn things together for good. You know how many times I've heard older parents say this, brother, I was not a great parent. I've done a lot of mistakes, but I somehow don't know how my children have turned out this way. Because your God is a sovereign God. All that you and I need to do is to shut the door, kneel, bend our knees, and weep on behalf of our children. That's all. All that we need to do is to shut the door, bend our knees, and weep on behalf of the children. I said it twice. Why? That's the secret. We come to that place of absolute surrender before the Lord. We talked about that in the last episode, right? Unsurrendered will in our journey. And this episode we are talking about having that regard, highly esteeming God's sovereignty. No matter what your mistakes are, no matter what the situations are, no matter what has happened, no matter how you blew it, no matter how many times you got angry, please understand, let's just come to a place. He's a God who's sovereign and He can work things out. Don't give up on your children. Don't give up on yourself. He's a sovereign God. Thank you. Thank you for being here. God bless you.